welcome to Cultural Quarter of an Hour podcast, a podcast where we celebrate the culture of Stoke-on-Trent and North Staffordshire. And remember, culture, it is so much more than stuffy paintings in a stuffy art gallery. It is so much more than a posh orchestra playing to posh people in posh ball gowns and suits. The culture we're talking about is the culture of every day, the culture of our city, our area that surrounds the city. It is the people, it is the buildings on our streets, it is the canals we enjoy, it is the heritage that is actually part of our everyday life, our present and our future. So grab a brew, peel your ears back and enjoy. Today I have headed to the former Spode factory. You probably think I'm here for the opening of the BCB, the British Ceramics Biennial, and I will obviously be popping down to have a look around. But today's podcast is not about that. It's about a kind of a splinter exhibition. I don't know, maybe we should call it a fringe exhibition. That's what I'm going to call it. We'll find out if that is actually its proper name in just a moment. But it is Dust Rising, which is taking place in the Meadows room here at the former Spode factory.
Welcome to the exhibition. It's been a privilege to curate and produce work for such a wonderful space, particularly after much window cleaning prep and floor mopping, which has happened in this space. And it's actually leads me to introduce Stephen Seabridge, who is Poet Laureate for Stoke-on-Trent. Stephen has written some poetry, quite a few poems about the space as well, and he's going to talk. So thank you, Steve. Thank you.
This poetry I'm going to read is part of a series called Doorways. When me and Joyce were talking about what I might write, I was at the point where I was thinking I don't really want to write more about pots or casts or the artefacts that were being produced in this place, and I was thinking more about the structure and the doorways, the windows, and how I've noticed each time that I've come here, the walls have disappeared and opened up, and the space is changing each time, and almost as if the walls itself were opening to more doors. The poetry is in a series, and it can be read as in one go, or it can be read in parts in any order, or you can just read one and not read the rest if you're in a rush, or if you're bored senseless. So number one, Pains. We went to the Meadows room to dance in the grey dust, each of our moves kicking up its own mist. In the Meadows room, a dull light from the sun outside, through windows glossed over with white paint. Spode for the words from porcelain. Spode for the words from the ash and kaolin. I take you in my hands and shape your new wonders. Meadow from Maidvi, from the words, the green mountain pasture where the land opens its womb to grass and alfalfa. Spode for the words, make and doorway.
So with me are the three curators of Dust Rising 19. I'll let them all introduce themselves. We'll start with ladies first.
Hello, I'm Joyce Iwashko.
Hello, I'm Cornelia Harms.
And I'm Terry Shave.
So who wants to start off by telling me what this is all about then?
Dust Rising DR19 is a contemporary visual arts exhibition that we've had Arts Council funding and Stoke-on-Trent City Council funding to produce. And we're down at the Meadows building at the Spode Works in Eleanor Street. And we've basically taken over part of the space there. And we've put on this visual arts exhibition. So it's a multidisciplinary exhibition.
You talked about visual arts, but we've heard some poetry as well today, haven't we?
Oh yes, there's some lovely poetry from Gabriella Gay and from Stephen Seabridge, who's a Poet Laureate. Stephen has written some poetry about the space around Spode for the exhibition. And Gabby's poem was the original poem that she wrote for the original Dust exhibitions in 2016-17, but she's rewritten some of it with DR19, Dust Rising 19 in mind.
Tell me a little bit about this space then.
The Meadows is a large building on the old Spode Works site in Stoke. And probably the best known building on the site is the China Hall, which currently has the British Ceramics Biennial. But we're in another massive building, and it's sort of hidden away on the site, and we wanted to do something in it to expose the fantastic site that Spode is, but the potential in some of the very big buildings here. So the council, luckily, they saw our vision too and wanted to do something with us, have been really supportive. The Arts Council, as Joyce said, have funded us as well. And we've got a core group of artists, and we've selected for student graduates from Staffordshire University to come in and look at this building and to use this building and the site as a catalyst to make new work.
And tell me a little bit about that work that's going on in the room at the moment.
It's very varied, from painting, drawing, there's a video projection, some sound pieces. And I think the one thing about the Dust Rising series, which has been going for a few years now, is that it's multidisciplinary as a visual arts exhibition. So you will get the spoken word, you'll get performance, you'll get other disciplines as well. And I think that's a testament to the range that we can produce in the city here, because it's essentially showcasing the artists that live and are associated with Stoke.
What kind of reaction have you had when you've been looking at the art and when you were going through the different artists? What kind of reaction have you been having with the art that's on display today?
To be fair, we've been we've been here a whole week, every day, all day. And today I'm just gathering comments of other people. I don't even know my reaction anymore. At first we were, just moving stuff about. We had a plan for curation, and then it all went to pieces when we brought the work together. So we had to rearrange a lot, and we had to work a lot with video work as well, as it was giving us a bit of trouble. So my reaction is, I'm happy that people give us good comments. I'm happy that it's done. I'm hopeful that it's going to get better and more and bigger. And that's it, really, for today.
What is it like being a curator? What do you have to go through as a curator, Joyce?
Oh gosh, well it's a lovely process to go through. We get all the work into the space, and we already know some of the works and the artists who are producing the artwork, so you have a good idea of what the artist might produce or what type of work it's going to be. And then if they bring it into the space, I think we all work intuitively with the space and the artwork. So we'll see relationships. There already is relationships between the artworks, but we'll really just make those more concrete, excuse the pun, really sort of build on the relationships between the artworks in the space, whether that be through theme or colour or materials. And really consider those artworks to get the best out of each person's artwork and the space, and show that work in the space. And the space is beautiful, so that's really helped us. I think that the space, we had some ideas about what we might put in the space, but when we actually got down to the nitty-gritty and got the artwork together, the space dictated it wanted to stay a big open space, which is really what the industrial space was about. And I think that affected how we placed the work.
Every time I come into the Spode site, there's always a reaction of sorts. You feel the ghosts of the workers past, and now to see the new stuff coming in as well, the new life that gets breathed into it. How do you react when you come on site? Yeah,
it's an extraordinary site, and it changes daily. The light, they're pulled roofs off some of the buildings, and the lights cast huge shadows, But I suppose for me, the most extraordinary thing is the scale. as you pass on the road, you think, I wonder what that is. Then you come on the site and it goes on and on. And I think one thing we hope is that people will come here and realise what an asset the city of Stoke-on-Trent's got with this site, and that it has an international potential, this part of the building and the city, and I think it's just being realised. I think the British Ceramics Biennial has done a lot, but I hope we're playing our part, and the Akava Studios, there's 40 studios on site here too, so that it becomes a cultural hub where people can come in and actually do things, have a coffee here and have a look round, and it will happen. I've said to many people, though, Stoke's a slow city, so, it'll take a little while to be an overnight success.
I love that. I've described this as a fringe exhibition to the BCB. Is that, would you say that was accurate? Is that a nice way to describe it, or should I describe it better?
No, we're very glad of the audience, because it shows to them that it is a creative city, but it also is a way of saying Stoke is very famous for ceramics, but a lot goes on, and we are proposing that we have an alternate year event to the Ceramic Biennial to keep that momentum going annually, and to do it from a visual arts point of view, and be very ambitious with international visual artists coming in. And hopefully 2020 will see the first of those biennial exhibitions, and this is a taster, really.
How very exciting. So is this something that all three of you are preparing for, planning for, and getting ready for no sleep for?
Most definitely.
We are, yes. If we're successful with that, we're hoping for that to happen, really. So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we are talking being ambitious, because I think we've got to be, because we are very, very, very sure that this space could take that level of activity, And, the idea of mapping the building to have projections on the whole building, and bringing in artists, from America who have connections with Stoke, to come and work here with us. And also to recognise too that there is a huge artistic practice here, and to actually not be afraid to say it's international, that what we do here is really good.
Just going back to, you asked, I think because the three of us we're all artists, and we have that incredible passion for art and for bringing art to the city and passing that on to other people. So I think, in planning for 2020, you've mentioned about the sleep, but I think because there's three of us, I think we work really well together, and we each have our own, sort of sets of jobs to do, and we work really well together, and I think that's really made it enjoyable and a really nice thing to do. So hopefully that'll continue, and we'll continue for 2020. So.
Can I just say, this was supposed to be a very small show, a very small taster, and it's become bigger than we kind of anticipated, and we work really hard on it. So we hope everyone's just going to enjoy it.
I'm sure they will. Thank you very much for talking to you three. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Charlotte.
So this poem was originally written and actually performed in Longton, but I think it feels quite right and relevant here and now with all the art and exhibition and the biennial and everything that's happening here. So as Joyce mentioned, it's called The Secret. The dust is slowly rising here. Its value is going to soar. Traded on the stocks and shares, marketed the more they see what we here in the potteries can make from it. They think the dust is black here, that nothing can ever sprout from grim pit.
I hope you enjoyed this week's episode. I love it when I pop over to the Spode factory. I go on about it all the time. It's just somewhere that feels magical. And when you see it being used as a cultural hub, which it feels absolutely right to, and you see it full of life, and you see it growing and evolving, it just feels brilliant. The Dust Rising DR19 exhibition is on until the end of the month, the 29th of September. Do go and have a look and take a peek around what's there. It really is worth your time. And of course, it's free. More details can be found on Facebook. Just look for Dust Rising 19. You will absolutely get all the stuff you need there. As always, Pleasure having you with me for this episode. If you want to get in touch, please do. You can get in touch with me usual ways. Cultural Quarter of an Hour on Facebook, at CQH Pod on Twitter, and I'll be back with you with more exciting news and views and fun and games and maybe even some shenanigans as well.